And we are rolling.
So here we go, it's time. Everybody saw the unboxing, the bike is built. We had Drew Cobb at Revolution Mobile Bike Repair throw a ride wrap on it so it stays nice and fresh the whole time I'm shredding it. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna get the bike set up. So one of the questions that we've heard from a few people already is, dude, how was setup on this thing? Well, we're gonna find out right now. So we opened it up, came with four, count them, 4 AXS batteries. So batteries are all charged and I am on the app. So the SRAM AXS app. So I'm hoping my man Mason and I can work our way through this without having any problems. So here we go. I think I'm ready. I hope you're ready.
We're gonna go in, we're gonna add a new bike.
Okay. So new
in.
bike profile. We're gonna call it El Jefe. I might think of a better one. All right, so there we go. We have El Jefe. We're gonna hit search for parts. Shake the bicycle or press the AXS button on the primary component to discover paired systems.
So go through, touch every AXS button until it blinks fast, then stop. And then once you've got all of them done, blinked, green, fast.
So woken up.
Yep, then you'd go to here and you just press this, click it once to end the pairing session. And then everything should be paired together. And we should be able to come to our app and then it should connect to the app once everything's paired.
We'll do a quick time check. We're like 3 minutes in so far. All right, I got an error. The connection attempt timed out. Please wake the device and try again. System incomplete. Flight Attendant requires a fork, control module, rear shock, and pedal sensor. Pair a complete system before continuing.
Don't forget one.
Uh-oh.
Forgot the bottom bracket.
Forgot the bottom bracket. So we're gonna wake everything up, but it's also telling us we have to do a firmware update. So, just hitting the button here on the app, and we'll let the firmware update happen. We'll see how long it takes.
Yeah, so you start at the fork, hold that until it's blinking fast, and then you move to all the other components. Blinking.
Blinking. Blinking. Blinking. Blinking.
Alright, got them all. End pairing session. Now we connect.
So, went through it a few times to try to get it figured out. Wasn't that bad. There's a lot of help here too, so if you have questions, you have a lot of help. We got this set up, we're 15 minutes in, probably, so now, drivetrain settings, so we can do multi-shift, downshift, all this different stuff, but what we're gonna focus on right now, Flight Attendant. And it asks, would you like to view the RockShox Flight Attendant calibration tutorial? Do we think we need to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So tutorial's very good. It says you need to prepare to get ready to calibrate. Once you have the AXS system paired, you're gonna tune your air springs and set your sag. So what we're gonna do is get the sag set, sit on the bike on an indoor level surface. So step 1, set sag, get the bike ready. Once we're connected, we would go to Flight Attendant. We can go down here to our guide. So it talks about the control module and everything that's on the control module. And so this is pretty important to read through and understand because the bias adjustment, that's probably the most important piece of this. So this applies just to the auto mode. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna bias the algorithm. So this is a very smart system and you can give it some input. So essentially you can move the window to one end or the other to set it up more for what you want. So some of that adjustment is gonna be low speed compression on the fork and the shock. So we're gonna go in right now and we're gonna set those. Calibrate vertical. So we sit on the bike to sag. We'll press and hold for 3 seconds those center buttons. You gotta be vertical and you're looking for the LED lights to blink white.
Center's blinking white.
There we go. LED pulse is white.
Now
Success.
fast.
Next step, calibrate tilt. When the LED pulse opens white, unweight the suspension. Stand over the bike. Tilt to the non-drive side. Steady the bike in the tilted position with the handlebars straight. Open position LED. It's blinking. We got a quick blink.
We got the green.
We're back up. We're green. We're good. Calibration is complete. We're going to calibrate it now. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our bias adjustment. So, very important piece right here, system bias. So you have a bias for open or lock. So essentially compression, right, is what we're talking about here. So what we can do is we can go -2 up to +2. So essentially +2 would be a little bit more compression. We're gonna split the difference and run it at 0 and see, based on our sag setting, what that looks like. We're ready to go. So, bike set up, fairly firm, I think. We're ready to go, hit the first ride, and I'm excited because the first ride is gonna be out in Eureka Springs. So not only are we gonna hit Leatherwood, but we're also gonna hit Passion Play. So we're gonna put the screws to this YT Jeffsy UNCAGED 6, see what we can do. So ride 1 on the YT Jeffsy UNCAGED 6 is complete. We went out to Lake Leatherwood and Passion Play. So we rode some places that I wasn't very familiar with, but we're a little bit more chunky than some of the stuff we have around here. So I think the idea was to try to get something that would test not only the Jeffsy, but the Flight Attendant and kind of give me an idea of how it worked. Now, I had a little bit of familiarity with it. When I was at the mill a few months ago, I rode a Capra that was equipped with Flight Attendant. It was absolutely incredible. It's not a very complex system. Like when I first saw it, I thought it's gonna be tough to deal with. It's not. You have a ton of support within the app in the way of videos that help guide you through everything. We went with a very, I'd call baseline, middle of the road setup, and we did this on purpose because I wanted to try to get comfortable with the bike and just riding it before we started to make any adjustments. And we also wanted to try to do it on terrain that we were familiar with. So the next installment in this series is going to be us going out to a specific section of trail that we know well and making those adjustments to then see what do those changes make, how does the bike perform. Now, another big question was, is it worth it? Is it good? Hell yeah, it's good. Like, is it worth it? I don't know how to answer that. Like, it's one of those things. Sarah asked me, can you feel a difference? Yes, you can feel a difference. It works really well. Shox suspension is my favorite. I have not hidden that. And what this does essentially is make all these micro adjustments for you. You don't even have to think about it. And what's cool is you can hear it. It's just it's constantly making that noise. And in the beginning, that's tough to listen to sometimes. It kind of trips you out a little bit, but you get to where you don't notice it, or you start to notice when it makes those adjustments and you look down to see where it's at. And it's really impressive how it almost always seems to be in the mode that it should be. There's a few times where it'll get a little bit tripped up based on some of your inputs, because you got to think there's a lot going on. The pedal sensor, there's a G-load sensor in there, there's a ton of things that are computing that algorithm to try to get it to be where it wants to be. So at this point, I'm stoked on the bike. The bike is legit. I mean, I had a blast riding it. I hope that comes through in the video of me riding. I'm excited to do some more riding around here on terrain and trails that I'm comfortable with, so we can do a little back-to-back with the Izzo. So how does it pedal compared to the Izzo? And then how does it perform when we make some of these small adjustments with Flight Attendant in regards to compression? So I'm excited. Stay tuned. We're gonna try to give as much info as we can as I go throughout this whole journey on the system. And then as we get later into the year, when we actually give this bike away. So if you have questions about either the Jeffsy or Flight Attendant, drop them down below and we will do our best to answer them with what we know. If it's an experiential thing or if it's an actual technical question, we can lean on some of the people that we know at SRAM and Shox to try to get those answers. So hopefully everybody's having a great day. Stay positive out there. If you want to come ride with us here in the mountain bike capital of the world, send us a message right here, info@therideseriesmtb.com. You can check the Ride Series schedule, therideseriesmtb.com.
Be sure to follow along behind the scenes at the Rich Drew, Mason DeCarroll, Cure Cycling. And that's it. We're done. I'm gonna finish my charcuterie board and get prepped for our next ride. Peace out, dumpers.